Imagine Leonidas I, the warrior king of Sparta, standing atop the blood-soaked battlegrounds of history. His presence is formidable, his voice a blend of iron will and the unyielding fury of a man who wielded war as both an art and a judgment. His eyes, hardened by the relentless glare of the sun and the countless lives extinguished under his command, reflect a soul forged in the crucible of Spartan discipline, yet shadowed by acts that echo through time as both valor and terror. As he recounts the moments that defined his reign, the brutal reality of his legacy unfolds, a testament to the merciless code of a king who lived and died by the sword. The purging of the Helots. With a voice as cold and unforgiving as the mountains of Laconia, Leonidas begins. The Helots, the subjugated people upon whose backs we built our state, were always a threat, an ever-present whisper of rebellion. On the night of the Cryptia, I sent forth our most ruthless warriors, young men stripped of mercy, to hunt them in the shadows. Under the cloak of night, they cut down any Helot deemed too strong, too proud, too capable of resistance. It was not just a culling, it was a message, carved in blood, that we Spartans would never allow the roots of dissent to take hold. We stained the earth with their blood, and in their silent screams we found the peace of continued dominion. The sacrifice of the 300. His tone sharpens, an edge of righteous fury lining his words. When the Persian horde, a sea of men that could drown the world, came to our lands, I knew that the time for half measures was over. I did not seek merely to defend, I sought to destroy their spirit. I led 300 of my finest, warriors who had been bred for battle, who had no fear of death, to the narrow pass of Thermopylae. There we made our stand. We did not fight for victory, but for the honor of a death that would echo across the ages. We did not flinch as our swords cleaved flesh from bone, as we tore into the enemy with the ferocity of lions. We fought until the last drop of Spartan blood had been spilled, and when we fell, we did so in a mountain of Persian corpses, a monument to the terror we inspired in those who dared to challenge us. The ordeal of the Agoge. A cruel smirk crosses his face as he speaks of the ritual that forged Spartan boys into warriors. In Sparta, weakness was a sin, a disease to be eradicated before it could spread. From the age of 7, our sons were taken from their mother's arms and thrown into the wilds, armed with nothing but their wits and their hunger. They were taught to steal, to kill, to survive by any means necessary. Those who faltered, who failed to prove themselves worthy of the Spartan name, were left to die. No tears shed, no graves marked. I too was tempered in this crucible, and it was there that I learned the harsh truth of our existence, that only through cruelty could we attain the purity of strength. The execution of the ephors. His gaze darkens, his voice heavy with the weight of cold calculation. The ephors, those who were meant to guide our state, grew complacent, their minds softened by comfort, their eyes blind to the threats that lurked beyond our borders. They questioned my decisions, undermined my authority. So I reminded them of the cost of disloyalty. I summoned them under the pretense of counsel, but instead they met the blades of my most trusted men. Their blood spilled across the sacred halls, and as their lifeless bodies were dragged away, I declared that Sparta would no longer be governed by men who had forgotten the price of survival. In their deaths, I cleansed our state of weakness. The conquest of Arcadia. His voice rises with a grim satisfaction, the memory of conquest still vivid in his mind. Arcadia, the land of soft hills and softer men, dared to defy Spartan rule. They thought their walls would protect them, that their pleas for peace would stay our hands. But I did not come for peace. I came to crush their defiance beneath the heel of Spartan boots. We razed their cities, slaughtered their warriors, and enslaved their women and children. The rivers ran red with their blood, and the land was soaked in the ashes of their civilization. I left nothing but ruin in my wake, a testament to what happens when one dares to resist the might of Sparta. The execution of the Persian envoys. His tone turns venomous, a sneer curling his lips as he recounts the fate of those who sought to intimidate him. When the envoys of Xerxes came, demanding earth and water as a sign of our submission, I received them with all the courtesy they expected. But as they stood before me, smug in their belief that Sparta would bend the knee, I made my intentions clear. I had them thrown into the pits. Their screams as they fell into the darkness below were a prelude to the fate that awaited their king. "Let the Persians know," I decreed, "that Sparta gives no tribute, pays no homage. We do not bow. We break, we burn, we bury our enemies." As Leonidas's recounting draws to a close, a palpable silence fills the air. His words, laced with both pride and a cold acceptance of the brutality that defined his rule, reveal a king who saw no distinction between glory and cruelty. To him, these acts were not merely moments of savagery, but necessary steps to ensure the survival and supremacy of his people. A legacy etched in blood and terror, one that would be remembered for as long as men spoke of war and the warriors who waged it.